Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at JG Chemicals.
JG Chemicals.
Yeah, they're an Indian company.
Okay.
You might not have heard of them,
Uh-huh.
but I bet you've interacted with their products.
Really?
Yeah, they're kind of woven into the fabric of like everyday life.
Interesting.
We've got a whole stack of their investor relations documents here, a press release, investor presentation, financial statements.
Cool.
And we're going to try to pull out the most interesting stuff for you.
I'm excited. What do they do?
So they're like a big player in the world of zinc oxide.
Zinc oxide. Okay.
And you use that in all kinds of things, like from tires to paints to even sunscreen.
Wow.
And get this, they're the biggest zinc oxide manufacturer in all of India.
Really?
Yeah, and they're a global top 10 player.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know, right? And before we get lost in the global picture,
Mm-hmm.
they just came out with their quarterly results for Q2 of FY25.
Okay, yeah.
And they're really something. So their revenue from operations is up almost 39% year over year for the quarter
Wow.
and 27.6% for the first half of the year.
That's amazing.
It is huge.
Yeah,
Like most companies would kill for that kind of growth.
Right.
And it's not just revenue. Their profitability is also like through the roof.
Oh, wow.
Net profit has jumped 327.5% year over year.
327.5%.
Yeah. What?
For Q2.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So what's fueling this?
Yeah, what's going on?
Is everyone suddenly buying more tires?
Right. Like, what is it?
Or sunscreen?
What is driving this?
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely like strong demand across the board.
Okay.
All the user segments,
Uh-huh.
which shows that there's a really healthy market for zinc oxide right now.
Okay.
But also, JG Chemicals is doing some things really well.
Okay. Like what? Spill the beans.
So first, they're seeing huge volume growth,
Okay.
particularly in their core zinc chemicals business.
Okay.
This suggests that they're not just riding the wave.
They're taking market share.
Yeah, smart. So what else?
Second, they've been diversifying their products.
Okay.
And it's paying off.
Uh-huh.
Their zinc sulfate segment, which is used in agriculture and other applications,
Okay.
is also showing great growth.
Makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
But let's be honest.
Yeah.
Chemicals, they often get a bad rap
Yeah.
when it comes to the environment.
Right.
So how's JG Chemicals handling like this sustainability question?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So JG Chemicals is walking the walk when it comes to sustainable manufacturing.
Okay.
A full 73%
Wow.
of their zinc input comes from recycled sources,
Okay.
which drastically cuts down their environmental footprint.
That's great. But, there's a lot of greenwashing going on these days.
Right.
I need like more to be convinced. What else are they doing?
They've gotten an 82% reduction in energy consumption,
Okay.
and their Nitipita plant is using this super advanced technology, zero liquid discharge.
What is that?
So that means they're treating and reusing their wastewater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they minimize their impact on local water resources.
Wow, that's like a level of commitment you don't see every day. It's like they're trying to redefine what it means to be a chemical manufacturer.
They really are.
Yeah.
And it's not just for good PR.
Right.
These sustainable practices are giving them a leg up on the competition.
How so?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
The world is getting more and more focused on environmental impact.
Uh-huh.
So, like customers, especially big global companies,
Yeah.
they want to work with suppliers who share their values.
So by being eco-conscious,
Yeah,
JG Chemicals is making themselves more attractive
exactly.
to potential customers.
Yeah, it's a brilliant strategy.
It really is.
And it's not just customers. Investors are also noticing. Their commitment to sustainability is drawing interest from major institutional investors who want to invest in companies that are both profitable and responsible.
That makes sense. But every company has its challenges.
Right.
What are some of the challenges that JG Chemicals is facing?
Well, one they pointed out is managing their working capital requirements,
Okay.
dealing with high input costs. And they need to make sure that they have enough cash on hand to, keep everything running smoothly.
Right. Even with all this growth, they still have to be careful about how they're managing their money.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about the competition?
Hmm.
Are there any big threats on the horizon?
Actually, one thing that jumped out at me in the investor presentation was that they don't see China as a major threat in the zinc oxide market.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, China's a manufacturing powerhouse. Why
Well,
not?
because global zinc oxide prices are mainly tied to zinc prices on the London Metal Exchange.
Okay.
So even though China may have lower manufacturing costs,
Yeah.
generally, they don't have a particular advantage when it comes to zinc oxide.
So JG Chemicals doesn't have to worry about being undercut by Chinese competitors.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But where do they go from here?
Right.
What are their plans for the future?
They've got some ambitious growth strategies.
Okay, like what?
They want to expand their reach in India,
Okay.
especially in non-rubber applications.
So they're not content with just being the tire guys. They
Mhm.
want to get into other industries.
Exactly.
Smart, especially with the Indian economy growing like it is.
Yeah. And they're not stopping there.
Uh,
They're also looking at global expansion,
hmm.
specifically in the SAARC region and other Asian markets.
Ambitious, but given their track record,
Right.
seems achievable.
Yeah.
But it's not just geographic expansion, right?
Right.
What about new products?
Yeah. So they're working on developing newer grades of zinc chemicals.
Okay.
And they're even thinking about how to use their recycling expertise in other areas beyond zinc.
That's smart. So they're taking what they're good at and finding new ways to apply it.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground here. We've seen how JG Chemicals has achieved impressive financial results.
Right.
Their strong commitment to sustainability, their unique position in the market,
Yeah.
and their ambitious plans for growth.
Uh-huh.
What stands out to you the most?
You know, it's their focus on building long-term relationships.
Oh, okay.
They're not just trying to make a quick buck.
Right.
They're investing in their employees, their customers,
Uh-huh.
and the environment.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see a company take that kind of holistic approach to business. Makes you wonder, what other seemingly ordinary companies are out there quietly revolutionizing their fields while making a positive impact on the world?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Something to think about.
For sure.
It's pretty amazing how they've, made sustainability part of their business.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about their products. You mentioned that zinc oxide is used in everything from tires to sunscreen.
Yeah.
But how much variation can there be? Isn't it just zinc oxide?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Their investor presentation talks about how they sell over 80
80?
different grades of zinc oxide.
Seriously?
Each one is customized to, fit specific customer needs.
Wow.
They're not just supplying, a basic material.
Right.
They're offering solutions that are tailored.
Okay, 80 grades.
Yeah.
What kind of difference does that even make?
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
A tire company will need a different grade of zinc oxide than, let's say, a cosmetics company.
Okay.
Each use requires different, things like particle size, purity level, even color.
Mm-hmm.
And JG Chemicals has really figured out how to fine-tune their process to meet all these different needs.
So it's they're almost a bespoke zinc oxide manufacturer.
Yeah, kinda.
That's incredible.
It is.
That must give them a huge advantage over the competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard for other companies to compete.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If a new company wanted to compete, they'd have to not only build a huge factory,
Yeah.
but they'd also have to create this really complex network
Yeah.
of, customized products and relationships with global customers.
Oh, and don't forget,
Yeah.
they have to match JG's expertise in sustainable manufacturing,
Exactly.
which is a high bar.
For sure.
Yeah.
They've put a lot of resources into building this environmentally friendly system.
Okay.
They're not just following the rules,
Right.
they're going above and beyond. They're the only IATF-certified zinc oxide facility in India.
Really?
And they even gotten licenses to make zinc oxide for international pharmaceutical standards.
Wow.
They've even got a WHO GMP certification.
Those are serious credentials. Sounds like they've really thought of every little detail.
Right.
From production to sustainability to, global expansion.
Yeah.
Speaking of expansion, what did their investor presentations say about their plans for growth in the future?
So their approach is multi-pronged,
Yeah.
but one key area is expanding what products they offer.
Okay.
Like I said, they're already working on newer grades of zinc chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking at ways to use what they know about recycling in areas beyond just zinc.
So they're not just growing geographically,
Right.
but they're expanding their capabilities too.
Exactly.
Smart. Diversification is key to long-term success.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay. And what about that geographic expansion?
Right. So they're focusing on doing more business within India.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of their sales come from the rubber industry, specifically tire manufacturing.
Yeah, we talked about how they supply zinc oxide to almost every global tire maker, but
Exactly.
they want more, right?
They see a huge opportunity in like non-rubber applications in India,
Okay.
especially with the market there demanding higher quality products.
Right.
This fits perfectly with their strategy to develop those new grades of zinc chemicals.
So it's like all the pieces of their strategy are coming together.
Yeah.
Domestic expansion, product diversification, all that, plus the sustainable practices.
It's all connected.
Super impressive.
Really is.
And of course, there's the global expansion too.
Yeah.
They're already selling to like over 10 countries,
Right.
but they want to be in more places, specifically in the SAARC region and other Asian markets.
Uh-huh.
That's a pretty bold move considering, all the different rules and cultural differences they'll have to navigate.
True, but they seem ready for it.
Yeah.
They've already shown they can adapt and succeed in different markets. They're already a top 10 global player.
Right. Good point. But what about the elephant in the room?
What do you mean?
China.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the manufacturing superpower.
Yeah.
Do they pose any threat to JG's plans for growth?
You've hit on a crucial question. And it's interesting because their investor presentation actually highlighted that China's not a big threat in the zinc oxide market.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because zinc oxide prices are mostly set by zinc prices on the London Metal Exchange. So even though China might have cheaper manufacturing in some areas,
Yeah, okay.
they don't have a special advantage when it comes to zinc oxide.
So even with all their manufacturing power,
Mm-hmm.
China doesn't have a cost advantage in this specific market.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this means JG Chemicals can focus on their own game plan
Right.
without worrying about being undercut.
That's a huge advantage.
For sure.
Yeah.
That lets them compete on things like quality, innovation, and their sustainability.
Instead of getting stuck in a price war.
Right, exactly.
So they're in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah.
Strong financials, ambitious plans for growth, committed to sustainability, and a pretty favorable competitive landscape. What could go wrong?
Well, just like with any company,
Right.
there are always risks. The global economy is unpredictable.
Uh-huh.
Demand for zinc oxide could change.
Yeah.
Their input costs could rise, and that would hurt their margins.
Yeah.
New competitors could come in with new technology.
Right. Even with the best planning, things happen that you can't predict.
Exactly.
But it sounds like JG Chemicals is well positioned to handle those challenges.
I think so.
Yeah.
They've been very adaptable
Uh-huh.
and strategic,
Right.
and their focus on sustainability, which might seem like it costs more in the short term,
Yeah.
could actually be a big plus in the long run.
Right. Because as more companies prioritize, getting their supply sustainably,
Exactly.
JG will be ahead of the game.
Right.
They'll be the supplier that businesses turn to if they want to reduce their own environmental impact.
Exactly.
So while there are always risks,
Uh-huh.
there are also some big opportunities for JG to keep growing.
Definitely a company to watch.
Absolutely. They've impressed us both with their financials and their commitment to sustainability. But there's one more thing I want to touch on before we wrap up.
Okay.
Their investor relations.
What about it?
I was really impressed with their investor presentation.
Oh,
It wasn't just like a dry list of numbers and projections.
Right.
It felt like they were really trying to connect with potential investors.
how so?
Well, they spent a good chunk of the presentation explaining like their manufacturing process, their recycling technology,
Okay.
their focus on sustainable energy.
Hmm.
That level of detail and transparency, you don't always see that.
You're right. It's like they're inviting investors and the public to see how they're trying to reduce their impact on the environment.
Yeah.
They're proud of what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they want to share it.
Exactly. It's not just about attracting investors,
No.
it's about building trust.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working.
It does.
Their strong performance and their commitment to sustainability has gotten them noticed by some pretty big investors. They even listed like MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology,
Wow.
and the Carnelian Structural Shift Fund,
Okay.
and SBI General Insurance Company Limited as some of their big shareholders.
Hmm.
Those aren't your, like everyday investors.
Boy, those are some serious players.
Yeah, it shows that investors are like seeing the value
Uh,
of JG Chemicals' long-term vision.
they're not just in it for a quick buck.
Right.
They're investing in a company that's building a sustainable future.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see a company like JG showing that you can be both profitable and responsible.
For sure.
Like they're actually doing it,
Walking the walk.
not just talking about it.
Exactly.
And they're proving that sustainability isn't just some, like feel-good thing.
Right.
It's a smart business strategy.
Yeah, in a world with all these, like, environmental challenges, companies that put sustainability first are the ones that are going to do well in the long run.
So what does all this mean for our listener? Like, what's the takeaway from our deep dive into JG Chemicals?
No, if you're interested in, investing in companies that are making a real difference,
Yeah.
JG Chemicals is worth checking out.
Okay.
They've got it all, strong financials,
Uh-huh.
innovative products,
Yeah.
commitment to sustainability,
Right.
and a clear plan for the future.
But even if you're not an investor, like, their story is a good reminder that we should all be paying attention
Yeah.
to the companies that make the products we use every day.
Right.
Are they operating ethically? Are they committed to sustainability?
Yeah.
These are questions we should be asking.
Definitely.
As consumers, we have more power than we think.
I agree.
Our choices can shape the market.
Absolutely.
We can choose to support companies that share our values.
Yeah.
Companies that are trying to make the world better.
It all makes a difference.
This deep dive into JG Chemicals has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
We found a company that's not just a leader in their industry, but also like a pioneer in sustainability.
Yeah. It's a great reminder
Yeah.
that the most interesting companies aren't always the ones you hear about all the time.
Right.
Sometimes the companies doing the most amazing things are the ones quietly revolutionizing their fields
Yeah.
and making a positive impact on the world.
And that's something for all of us to think about.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Well,